In this gritty adventure, notorious criminal Michiko Malandra escapes from a high-security prison and kidnaps a foster child whom she believes to be the daughter of her ex-boyfriend Hiroshi Morenos. The two go on an adventure together and form an unlikely bond. So, Michiko to Hatchin. I have heard some very good stuff about this show. I knew some really interesting things going into it, that it had a woman director, Yamamoto Sayo, and this was her first directorial project. It was a cast mostly of women, and mostly women of color, which is more unusual than you would expect in anime. And it's also set in this weird Brazil-like country, which is not something you see in anime very often. So usually you see either Japan or the future, basically. So I was very interested to see what this was going to be like. And then I saw the actual opening for Michiko to Hatchin, and I was like, this looks a lot like Watanabe Shinichiro, who did Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, because it was this very, very eye-catching, very bright, very jazzy, really interesting opening style. It kind of looked like the adventures of Faye and Ed based on the character designs. So I was really interested to see where the story was going to go and what it was going to be like. And actually, Watanabe did do, he was the music producer for this show as well. So I was right that he had some kind of influence with this. And actually, I would say that the plot is kind of similar to both Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. It's one of those stories where you have these scruffy, down on their luck characters who are kind of on the run from both the law and also some disreputable people, and also they're on the run from their past, and they're on the run from human connection, and they have to take this inner journey. And even though they go on this journey, there's never really a clear happy ending for any of them. So if you're interested in that kind of story, I would definitely recommend this show, because it has that kind of feeling of the bleakness of life and the nostalgia for the past and all that good stuff. So good points about this show: I'd say two very likable main characters. Michiko is hilarious. She's a lot like Mugen from Samurai Champloo, because she's very wild, out of control, not very smart, but very lucky and very physically able to defend herself. And so she's a lot of fun to watch, and you're always just kind of rooting for her, even though she's such a slob and makes so many mistakes. You're really kind of glad that she has this self-confidence even when things don't go through so well for her. So she's a lot of fun. And Hatchin is kind of the opposite of her, in that she's this young child who's also very responsible and very adult, but she also has this fierceness. And it's amazing that someone who's been through the awful stuff that she's been through is able to not only be alive, but to have this sense of self and sense of what's just and what's not just in the universe. Another great thing about the show is the background art is very good. There's very detailed cityscapes and these streets with graffiti and like all these people and like stands, and it looks really old and run down, but it's like so detailed and so wonderful. And then you've also got like these jungle and desert landscapes. They're also really pretty to look at. So visually this show is great. These are worlds with a lot of really vibrant characters, vibrant background characters. You see people of all ages, like all body types, and they're all really quirky and weird and just really fun to look at, even if they just appear for like 5 minutes in one episode. The background music is also really good. It's kind of jazzy and Latin, and it keeps the pace going. And there's also some Portuguese songs that come in at some like sadder, quieter moments that I think are really appropriate, because, well, it's kind of like a Brazil setting. So I think that they're really well integrated. And another good thing is that it has that more adult, gritty tone. It's not quite so goofy as some anime you'll see where the characters, you know, they do the chibi thing and they talk in weird voices and everything's kind of a comedic moment. Not that that's bad, but I think a lot of people are more drawn to like the action, the gritty stuff. And there are comedic moments in this show. It's more like the comedy that you'll see in something like Pulp Fiction, where the characters are really weird and over the top, but it's also a world where you feel like there's a sense of danger and a sense that there is this dark side to it. A few of the bad points for me, the first episode is hard to get through because there's a lot of child abuse and it's terrible, and to me at least it feels like something that could really happen, that's somewhat realistic, because the parents are these religious fanatics and total hypocrites, and then they teach the children to basically just be total jerks, to be the same way as the parents are. And it's really hard to watch Hatchin, who's such a likable character, be mistreated in this way. I think that none of the other episodes are as disturbing as the first one in that respect, but I have to give that warning because it was pretty intense and pretty hard to get through. I would say that the plot is a little bit meandering. It's one of those journeys where you have an endpoint, but you know they're not really going to get there until the last couple of episodes. Like maybe they're going to find some clues along the way, but there's a lot of filler episodes and it's a lot of like the adventure of the week kind of thing. Also, the action itself does get a little bit repetitive because Michiko has a very special relationship with gravity and bullets. And after a while it is a little bit harder to feel like she's in danger because she just defies death so many times in this series. But I mean, that's kind of nitpicky. There is a little bit of fan service in this show, mostly around the character of Michiko, because she is this very curvy, very attractive woman, and it's kind of a hotter climate, so her clothes don't cover up a whole lot of her. But personally, I would rather look at this type of character than the kind of cutesy, babyish high schooler type that you usually see in fan service the anime. When I think about it, I can sort of imagine a person like Michiko existing and dressing the way she does. So it's just like, you know, like some people dress that way and it doesn't feel like it's super pandering to the audience the whole time. Overall thoughts, definitely for mature viewers, definitely for people who like action and adventure and a more gritty and dark setting. Good characters, really fun world to look at, not a fun world to live in because everyone's trying to kill you or scam you, and really good music. So I would definitely recommend this for an older audience.